At 61, I finally saw how much life I'd let slip through my fingers. That was the year I started asking Eleanor, what's been holding you back all these years? What have you given up? Those questions stung like a whip cracking open old wounds, but they woke something in me. Facing the truth isn't easy. It's a beast that waits coiled, revealing itself in ways you can't predict. It started when I tackled the attic of my old Savannah, Georgia house, a place I'd avoided for over a decade. Since Henry, my husband of 37 years, died, that attic had been a tomb for memories too raw to touch. But that day, a strange fire lit inside me, pushing me to confront it head-on. The attic was just as I remembered, a maze of dusty boxes, forgotten treasures, and a musty smell that choked the air. I approached the first box, prying it open with care, and found an old photo album untouched for years. Just seeing it froze me. I lifted the cover and the first image hit like a punch. There I was at 22, bathed in the golden glow of a Miami beach, a cocktail in hand, laughing like the world could melt away. In a bright yellow sundress, sunglasses perched on my head, I radiated a reckless confidence untouched by life's weight. That young, vibrant woman stirred something deep, a longing I thought I'd buried. As I flipped through the pages, footsteps echoed behind me. I glanced up, startled to see Lucas, my late husband's nephew, standing at the threshold. It had been 3 years since I'd seen him since he left for work out west. At 31, he wasn't the lanky kid I remembered. He'd grown into a man, broad-shouldered, carrying a quiet strength. "Eleanor," he said, holding a paper bag in one hand, a coffee cup in the other. "Lucas," I replied, surprise and warmth flooding me. "What brings you here?" He grinned, casual, but his eyes held a spark that unsettled me. "Saw your car out front. Thought I'd check on you." Before I could protest, he stepped deeper into the attic, his gaze sweeping the room until it landed on the album clutched in my hands. "What's that?" he asked, curiosity sharp. "Just an old album," I muttered, holding it tighter. But Lucas moved closer, peering over my shoulder at the beach photo. He didn't hesitate. "Is that you?" "Yeah," I admitted, a nervous laugh escaping. He stared longer than I expected, his eyes tracing the lines of that younger me. "Wow," he said, finally meeting my gaze. "You were something else. Hard to picture you like that." His voice mixed admiration and awe, making my cheeks burn. We sat together, and he turned the pages with care. Each photo uncovered a piece of me I'd forgotten, a version dancing in a red dress under nightclub lights, another barefoot at a rooftop party, wild and free. "You were fearless," Lucas said, disbelief in his tone. I shrugged, saying everyone has their wild years, but I didn't mean it. Watching him study those photos with such fascination, a strange warmth spread through me, a feeling I hadn't known in years, sharp and dangerous. Our talk flowed easy, diving deeper into the album, laughing at old hairstyles, reflecting on how life had carved us up. But something shifted in the air. When Lucas closed the album, his eyes stayed on me. "You're remarkable, Eleanor," he whispered. "It's like I'm meeting you for the first time." His words stole my breath. It had been years since anyone looked at me with that intensity, spoke with that kind of reverence. I couldn't find words, so I let my face speak, hoping it hid the storm inside. Lucas reached out his hand, closing over mine, warm and sure. "Eleanor," he said, voice soft but serious, "your beauty, it's not just skin deep. It's extraordinary." My heart raced as our eyes locked. After years of feeling invisible, I was seen not as a widow, but as the woman I used to be. That moment changed everything. The days after were alive with a new energy. Lucas stayed longer than planned, offering to help clear the attic. We spent hours wading through boxes, laughing over forgotten trinkets, unearthing pieces of my past. But it wasn't just the attic that came alive. It was me burning with a pulse I thought was dead. One afternoon, digging through a box of vintage clothes, I found an emerald green dress, its deep neckline and fitted waist a relic from my 20s. It had meant something back then. Holding it again, nostalgia flooded me. "Try it on," Lucas said, eyes bright with excitement. I hesitated. "I doubt it fits anymore." He grinned. "Only one way to find out." Spurred by his enthusiasm, I slipped into the dress. To my shock, it hugged me perfectly. When I stepped out from the hall, Lucas's face turned unreadable. "You're stunning," he whispered. My cheeks burned under his stare, reigniting a confidence I'd long buried. As days passed, Lucas and I fell into a bond that was both comforting and unsettling. An inexplicable force pulled us together, a connection I couldn't name or deny. But guilt lingered sharp and heavy. One late evening, washing dishes in the kitchen, Lucas appeared behind me. His hand rested on my shoulder, its warmth sending a shiver down my spine. "You're overthinking again," he said softly, like he could read my mind. "How can I not?" I whispered. "This isn't normal." "Who decides what's normal?" He countered, his words hanging in the air, challenging everything I thought was true. Alone that night, I sat in the living room staring at the album. Those photos of my younger self belonged to someone fearless, unapologetic, alive. Where had she gone? The answer was simple. She'd been crushed under years of duty, grief, and helplessness. But Lucas had sparked something, a faint flicker of her return. His visits became routine, and each departure left an ache. One evening, as the sun sank over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the porch, Lucas turned to me, his face serious. "Eleanor," he said, voice firm yet fragile. "I don't know how to say this without sounding wrong, but I've never felt this with anyone before." My breath caught. "I know," I said. "It's complicated." "It doesn't have to be," he replied, but I knew it was. I was his aunt by marriage, not blood, but the weight of it pressed hard. The whispers started soon after. A neighbor saw Lucas leave my house late one night and spread the word. By the next week, gossip turned to confrontation. At the market, I overheard two women, their voices low and conspiratorial. "Eleanor, of all people, with her husband's nephew, disgusting," the other said. "She should be ashamed." Their words cut deep, but I walked past head high, refusing to acknowledge them. Inside, I was crumbling. Back home, Lucas waited on the porch, his presence steady. "They're talking about us," I muttered, voice shaking. "Let them," he said, pulling me into a warm embrace. "They don't matter." But it wasn't just strangers. My daughter Anna erupted when she heard. "How could you, Mom?" she shouted, pacing the living room, disbelief etched on her face. "He's family. Not by blood," I said, trying to stay calm. "Not like you think." "That doesn't make it right," she snapped. I handed her a letter Henry had written me before he died, sealed in an envelope labeled, "For Eleanor when you need it most." My hands trembled as I opened it. Lucas sat silently beside me, sensing its weight. In Henry's neat script, the words crossed time. "If you're reading this, I'm gone. Know that my deepest joy came from loving you. Life goes on even when one of us is gone, a treasure to be lived fully without regret. If someone stirs you, brings back the laughter we shared, or mirrors your beauty and spirit, embrace it. Love them. Honor our life by living yours." Tears streaked my face as I reached the end. Lucas's hand rested on my back, anchoring me through Henry's final gift, a blessing I hadn't expected but desperately needed. You okay?" he asked softly. I nodded, voice unsteady. "I think so." But I wasn't sure. Relief, gratitude, and the weight of possibility tangled inside me. Even with Henry's blessing, the path wasn't easy. Every moment with Lucas crackled with intensity, the air around us electric. I noticed things I hadn't before: his squinting smile, his booming laugh, the quiet strength he carried. One evening, cooking dinner together, our hands brushed, reaching for a cutting board. The touch lingered too long, a spark passing between us. Our eyes met, an unspoken understanding flowing. I stepped back, heart pounding. "This is complicated," I whispered. Lucas set the board aside, facing me. "It doesn't have to be." "It is," I insisted, gripping the counter. "I'm your aunt by marriage. This isn't normal." "Who decides normal?" he shot back, echoing his earlier words. I looked away, unable to face his stare. "They'll talk, they'll judge." "Let them," he said, confident. "They don't know us, our struggles, what we mean to each other." His certainty was both comforting and terrifying. The whispers grew, but so did our resolve. Anna softened after reading Henry's letter, her face easing though doubt lingered. "I don't understand," she murmured. "He's so much younger. What does he see in you?" Her words stung, but I stood firm. "He sees me, Anna, not just a widow, but a woman worth loving." Over months, Lucas and I faced the storm of judgment together. Some days the pressure felt crushing, tempting me to turn away. But Lucas always reminded me why we fought. He woke parts of me I'd hidden for years. We took up dancing, a passion I'd shelved since my 30s. We hiked, tried new restaurants, planned a weekend at the coast. For the first time in years, I felt alive. The change wasn't just external. I stopped caring about others' opinions, embracing my right to happiness, even if it defied norms. One day, gardening, I saw Anna's car pull into the driveway. She stepped out, her face a mix of uncertainty and resolve. "Mom," she said softly, her voice gentler than it had been. "Can we talk?" I nodded, brushing my apron. On the porch, bathed in the late afternoon's golden light, Anna confessed she'd been reflecting on my words. "I've spent my life chasing others' expectations, and it's made me miserable. But you, Mom, you're brave. You're chasing joy despite everything." Tears welled as I reached for her. "I just want you to be happy," I said. She nodded, a faint smile breaking through. "I'm trying, Mom. I really am." Over time, the whispers faded. Those who mattered, family, close friends, began accepting Lucas and me for who we were. One starry night on the porch, Lucas took my hand, his face earnest. "Eleanor," he said, "you've given me something I never thought I'd find: a home, a purpose, a love I didn't think possible." I smiled, heart swelling. "You saved me," I replied. In that moment, I knew we'd made the right choice, despite the scrutiny and doubt. We'd found something extraordinary, a love that defied norms and revived our souls. As Eleanor and Lucas navigated their unconventional bond, they showed us a truth: joy lies beyond society's approval. Their courage to chase their desires despite judgment affirms the power of love and self-discovery. What do you think of their journey? Is it a bold act of love, or do you see it differently? Share your thoughts below. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more tales that stir the heart and soul.